Hi guys, well today we have in our hands the MSI GE62 7RE Apache Pro. Now it wasn't such a long time ago that we had a look at another GE62 VR, but that one was powered by Skylake. So this new laptop here, as you may have guessed, features a new Intel Kaby Lake 7th gen processor, and it doesn't end there either. And concealed within this laptop here, we have the newly announced GTX 1050 Ti in the mobile format. At the very heart of GE62 is the Intel Core i7-7700HQ and a wealth of other hardware too, including 8GB of DDR4, an M.2 SSD and the 4GB GTX 1050 Ti. So how much are you going to pay for this laptop? Well, in the UK it is just over the £1,000 mark. At the moment we don't have US pricing, but judging it by previous units of the GE62, it is going to be probably around 1,500. And of course, different regions often come with different specifications, and so what is available to you may not be the same as what we're looking at today in this laptop. So in the past, we've always been really impressed by the GE62 throughout the different generations that they've had to offer. It sits at a decent price range, and it also offers really good performance, and hopefully we'll have more of the same today. Okay, so this is the packaging that our laptop arrives in, and as usual MSI done a great job with this. Not only does it look good, but it's also very sturdy. On the top here you can see we've got a carry handle that can be quite useful. You can use this to transport your laptop around if you don't have a bag. Just spinning that over, on the reverse there you can see we've got a full rundown there of all the features which cover the audio, the cooling, the video, the keyboard and everything else. Okay, and inside this box, first of all, we have the laptop itself in this fabric sleeve to keep it nice and protected. And then we have this arrangement here of these 3 boxes. So, inside here, first of all, we have the power pack. As you can see, that is a slimline power pack. It uses a triple connection there. And that actually marries up with this cable over here. So just go into this, you can see we have that connection there, and obviously being in the UK we have a UK adapter, so those two work together. And then in the middle we have the documentation, which includes a quick start guide, all your warranty details, and the drivers and the utilities are actually not included here because we have a recovery tool built into the laptop and they are all pre-loaded. Okay, well here is the GE62. Now MSI doesn't tend to alter their design that much between the different generations, and so what we're getting here in this new model is a touch of that modern, classic and elegant styling, which I'm sure you'll agree looks very nice indeed. So first up, let's take a look at those dimensions. GE62 is 383mm wide, 260mm deep, and just 27mm high. And then on the weight, you're looking at around about 2.4 kilo with the battery. And so this is exactly the same size and weight as the previous GE62 that we reviewed. And this is good news because it means that this unit is going to be able to be taken in a pouch or a bag to any events that you might be attending. And those figures also mean that you're going to be able to take this overseas on any flights. Now, taking a look at the lid on our laptop, this is where we have that touch of elegance. That lid there provides us with this brushed aluminium surface, and it bears those concave accents on either side. In the very centre there we have the dragon emblem, since this is an MSI gaming laptop, and that lights up when the system has power. So running down the left edge we have Kensington lock allocation, gigabit LAN, a USB 3 port, HDMI 1.4 port, a mini display port, a USB 3 port, a USB 3.1 Type-C port, and the headphone and microphone jacks. So we have a good selection of ports there for different tasks, and as we pointed out previously, competitors are using HDMI 2 ports on their laptops, and so MSI would have been better off there to supply version 2 over 1.4 to kind of aid VR support and also to future-proof. And so that is the only thing there that we would change. And over on the other side we have the Super Multi-Drive, giving you the optical storage there for CD and DVD. We have a single USB 2 port, an SDXC HC card reader and the DC in port for use with the charger. Now ideally we would have liked to have seen USB 2 phased out on this laptop, as USB 3 is backwards compatible anyway. Around the back we have no ports, but what we do have are 2 outlets for the cooling. Now that type of configuration around the back rather than at the sides is a much better solution, as it doesn't blow the heat directly onto your hands if you are using a mouse. If we turn the laptop over, we have 5 rubber feet to keep the laptop nice and steady on shiny surfaces, and we have quite a bit of ventilation for those internal components, as you can see. On this back side we also have a subwoofer and 2 respective speakers towards the front, and all of that utilises MSI's Audio Boost 2 technology and Dyne Audio. On the back we also have a sticker there which tells you the serial number. That will be relevant there if you need any help from tech support. And you'll notice that we have a warranty sticker, so we get 2 years warranty with this particular model. Now some of you guys have reported that this void warranty sticker is irrelevant. This may be the case in some countries, but at least for us, if we do go inside, we will void the warranty. And while we have the laptop on this side, we will go ahead there and do exactly that, remove the back panel. So our GE62 is based on Kaby Lake architecture, and therefore the driving force behind this laptop is the Intel Core i7 7700HQ, which is a quad-core processor which has a base frequency there of 2.8 GHz, which turbo boosts up to 3.5, and that is a few hundred megahertz there over the Skylake 6700HQ. Now, taking care of the graphics, we have Nvidia's exciting new GTX 1050 Ti, which was announced just a few weeks ago at CES. Now, the mobile version of 1050 Ti is very similar to the desktop version. In fact, they share the same CUDA cores, interface and memory bandwidth. The significant difference really lies in the clock speed. The mobile version is actually over 200 MHz faster. However, there is a 2 gig and a 4 gig version, and so this card here in this laptop has the 4 gig of VRAM. And later on we will be testing this GPU out to see what kind of performance you guys can expect. Now MSI are always top notch with their laptop cooling, and GE62 is no exception. We have what is a twin fan design with a 6 copper heat pipe configuration and those respective heatsinks. And again later on we will check out how efficient this system is. For the system memory, we have just one 8 gig stick of Kingston DDR4, which operates at 2400. And that should be sufficient for most users out there, but there is obviously a spare slot for adding in another module. But of course, before doing any upgrades, be sure to check out the warranty situation. And we can install up to a maximum of 32 gig inside this laptop. As is a common arrangement nowadays, we have 2 storage drives inside GE62. We have a 128 gig Toshiba M.2 SSD for the primary drive, so that should give you the quick transfer rates for things like boot up and in and around Windows. And then the secondary drive is a large capacity 1TB HGST. That is mechanical and it operates at 7200 RPM, and so most of your storage like your games, some bigger applications and your photos will be better suited for this large drive. The battery inside this laptop is a 6-cell unit and it is fixed to the laptop, as you can see. So if you need a replacement, then MSI tech support will need to get involved. Now that battery is going to offer you under 4 hours with very light usage, but if you're watching a movie or playing games, then that will drastically reduce to approximately an hour and a half. But if you were playing a game anyway, power saving limitations will hit that GPU and you'd experience frame rate drops, and so it makes perfect sense really to use the charger while gaming to get the optimum performance in game. Now along with the wired gigabit connection, GE62 also benefits from 802.11ac along with Bluetooth 4.2, and for this MSI are using an Intel dual band 3168 module. Okay, so if we open up our laptop, we have a 15.6 inch display, which is IPS, and it is capable of up to 1080p. Now there is an option there to upgrade this to 4K, but given that we're using 15 inches and we have a 1050 Ti, it would be quite a bad move. So this screen is very clear, and as well as being precise, it's got plenty of saturation and is vibrant. Now as we saw last time, MSI pre-install a profiling system, which provides you with different modes. One of which is anti-blue, which will help your eyes there during those late night sessions. And just above the screen we have an integrated webcam with a mic, which offers up to 720p at 30 frames. MSI's partnership with SteelSeries and Dyne Audio continues with this laptop. Now for the audio, we have a sound system there supplied by Dyne Audio, which joins together with Audio Boost 2. If you are planning to use the speakers there for watching movies, then we can vouch for excellent quality being offered here. So the keyboard comes courtesy of SteelSeries and it features custom etching. It is based on a QWERTY design, but as you can see there have been some slight modifications to the layout to fit everything in. Now, among the laptops that we've reviewed, MSI are up there as the best for the keyboard quality, and the feedback with tactile response and the LED backlighting is second to none. And that backlighting can be modified on a per key basis using the SteelSeries engine, and as well as being able to add in commands and macros to specific buttons. And there is also an option there for those who prefer it to switch off that lighting altogether. Up at the very top of this keyboard we have a SteelSeries button to jump to different profiles, and there is also a button there which sets the fans inside our laptop at 100% to bring down those temperatures at the very touch of a button, and this is what 100% sounds like. And then finally we have the touchpad. This blends into the brushed metal design and it sits a little off center. This is quite responsive and accurate, and it also benefits from having two independent clickers there for left and right. Okay, well so far our laptop appears to offer some great hardware and some interesting features, but how does it perform? Well, it's time to test this out. So the plan is to firstly boot into Windows 10 from a cold boot to see how long that takes. And then we're going to see what the read and write performance is like for the M.2 drive. And then we'll run PC Mark 8 to see how the overall score is. And after that, it's time to hit some games. And we're going to go with Battlefield 1, The Witcher 3, Rise of the Tomb Raider, and Titanfall 2. And in the background, while everything is running, we'll monitor the CPU and the GPU temperatures. And then towards the end of the video, we'll also do a quick reading there of the noise while the system is loaded, so you know how noisy this laptop is. Okay, so first of all, let's boot GE62 and see how quick we get into Windows 10 from a cold boot. Okay, and now that we're in, let's run Crystal Disk Mark to get an idea of the transfer rates from that M.2 SSD. And as you can see there, those transfer rates are actually quite similar to SATA-based speeds, which is a little disappointing, and so the choice of the Toshiba M.2 isn't such a great one. So with Titanfall 2 still running, this is what the fan noise is like. Okay, and if we just come out of Titanfall, we can have a look at the temperatures. So here we have the readings from real temp for the CPU and GPU Z for the 1050 Ti. And as you can see there, the CPU is rather hot, but still within the acceptable range. As you may know, Kaby Lake is notorious for getting extremely toasty, and so that comes as no surprise. Alright, well that has been the new MSI GE62. Now while the actual design of this laptop has pretty much remained the same over the years and throughout the different generations, it is the technology inside, underneath, where things really change and they get interesting. This particular new version here, of course, arrives with the Intel Kaby Lake processor, that 7700HQ, which improves over the predecessor, the 6700HQ, by offering that faster base clock and the turbo, and also the faster GPU clock and support for higher frequency DDR4. Now the other big thing with this particular model here is the inclusion of the NVIDIA GTX 1050 Ti, which debuted at CES just a few weeks ago. And there are actually two versions of that GPU. There is a 2 gig version, and then we've got the 4 gig version, which is obviously the VRAM. The best choice is of course that 4 gig version, and thankfully we get that inside this laptop. And that GPU is going to offer you around 60 frames per second with 1080p maxed out in most games. Some games are going to dip just below. You will need to sacrifice ultra for perhaps high, just compromising a little bit on the eye candy for fluid gameplay. And again, if you've seen any of our desktop 1050 Ti reviews, you'll see that the performance from this laptop here is very much the same. Now, cooling and noise are really important to a lot of laptop users, and we've been able to see here that the heatsink configuration is very well made. And the GPU and the CPU inside there are under complete control, and the noise is a little bit higher than what we've experienced before, but often to get the most out of that type of scenario in game, you'd be using headphones anyway. The extras that we saw on the previous generation of the GE62 are all there as well, which is really good. The MSI True Color profiling, that really nice exciting RGB keyboard, which feels great, it looks great, and you can obviously modify the lighting too. We get a nice selection of USB on the sides, including all the standards, including 3.1 Type-C. But as we did note, it would be better to have HDMI 2 instead of 1.4. Rivals are supplying it, and it future-proofs the video out, and also the VR support too, which is very relevant. So guys, to check out the full review, we'll have that link up on the screen and in the description very soon. I will have even more benchmarks over there for those who are interested. Thanks for taking time out of your day to watch this video. Be sure to subscribe for even more content just like this, and I will see you guys very soon.